Welcome, listeners, to another deep dive. Today, we're taking a close look at some really fascinating insights. These come from our dear friend, Crypto Infos.
Ah, yes, crypto infos.
If you follow the space, you probably know them for their very distinctive yellow charts, kind of a trademark.
Absolutely. Hard to miss.
So our mission today is to explore Crypto Info's core views on market analysis, and then we'll actually look at a specific crypto analysis they shared, see how it all works in practice.
Yeah, and what's really interesting here, I think, is getting into the mindset behind their approach. It often pushes back against more conventional ideas in trading.
Right.
We'll be focusing specifically on their firm belief that technical analysis isn't just one tool, but actually the most superior way to understand what the market's doing.
Okay, let's unpack that then, this core idea. Crypto Infos champions technical analysis. So for you listening, trying to navigate, all the market noise,
Yeah.
what's the real takeaway when they say technicals reign supreme?
Well, if we look at the big picture they paint, Crypto Infos really emphasizes that technical analysis directly reflects real action, like actual people buying and selling.
Okay.
They use that phrase, put your money where your mouth is. And that kind of raises a key question, doesn't it?
Yeah, like,
If action speaks louder than words or headlines, what information is that action giving us? Their view is it's the purest signal. The charts show the conviction.
and here's where it gets really specific and maybe even controversial for some. Crypto Infos literally states that every single candle on the chart contains all the information needed.
All of it.
Yeah, not just price points. It's about seeing what everyday traders are doing, what the big players, the whales are up to, and where that so-called smart money is moving,
Exactly. It's like distilling everything down to the raw behavior shown right there on the chart.
which naturally leads to them downplaying other factors.
Right. This perspective means they see things like news events and company fundamentals quite differently.
Mhm.
Crypto Infos calls them flashy headlines and attractive clickbait. Clickbait, yeah. Things that are, in their view, far less useful for actual trading decisions. They might concede it helps occasionally in very small instances,
Mhm.
but it's a really clear prioritization. Market action first. The narrative comes second, if at all. They believe the real signals, the actionable ones, are generated by the price action itself.
Okay, so theory is one thing. Let's see it applied. You mentioned Crypto Infos puts this framework to work with their yellow charts. They did an analysis on the PNU token recently.
They did, yeah. And the PNG analysis is a perfect example of these principles in action. Looking at the one-day chart, they marked the status as bullish.
Okay, bullish.
And the pattern they identified was forming a new rising wedge pattern. Now, typically a rising wedge, textbook-wise, often suggests a potential downward break is coming.
Right, that's usually bearish.
Usually. But here's the nuance in their interpretation. By focusing on what they see within the candles, the buying and selling pressure their observation is that PNU can move in this area for longer. So, despite that classic pattern shape, their reading of the underlying action suggests, well, maybe continued bullish momentum, or at least consolidation, not necessarily an immediate drop. It's about how they read the price action within the pattern.
And based on that detailed reading from those yellow charts, Crypto Infos then laid out some very specific price targets for you, the listener.
Very specific.
If PNG keeps going up, continues to pump, the next upside target area they see is between $0.027 and $0.03.
Yep.
But there's always the other side. If it gets rejected, if the price turns down, the first downside target they identified is negative $0.012.
So clear levels derive directly from their technical reading of the chart.
What?
No fundamentals, no news headlines driving those specific numbers.
Exactly.
This deep dive into Crypto Info's method really underscored their conviction, this idea of understanding market mechanics, focusing purely on the trading action happening right now. Rather than getting swayed by external stories, it definitely makes you think, where do the most reliable signals come from? It challenges you to consider different sources of information.
So what does this all mean for you? I think it's a really powerful reminder, isn't it? That sometimes the clearest insights, whether in markets or just, life, come from watching what people do, the actual behavior, not just listening to the chatter or the noise around it.
Well said.
So a huge thank you again to our dear friend Crypto Infos for sharing these views and, of course, their unique yellow charts. It gives us a lot to think about.
Definitely.
The question for you is, what will you look for next time you pull up a chart? And could this focus on pure action maybe shift how you see things?